Hi, this is Terry Sanchez, and I just finished my epic warm-up, and I don't know, I just want to talk to a bunch of flute players who really get it, how frustrating it can be sometimes if you let it when you don't have your gorgeous, dreamy tone ready to go first thing. You know, it's funny, I have a long list of things that I need to practice today, a long list of to-dos, and so of course I know that starting with my epic warm-up is the way to go, but I was experiencing something that I've talked with quite a few students about lately, where I'm halfway through my warm-up and I'm feeling in a hurry. I'm feeling impatient. I want to go ahead and get to my long to-do list. And so even though, yes, I was listening to my tone, my brain was already pretty busy. I had thoughts buzzing around in my head about the technique in this etude and the to-dos in this piece, and I'm actually needing to make a worksheet and a presentation to go with the Texas All-State etudes right now, and so I was definitely in almost like computer mode, but I was still doing my warm-up, and then I snapped out of it because when I felt that temptation to quit the warm-up early and just go ahead and get to it, I realized, you know what, this is not the mode that I want to be in today. This is not the mode that I want to be playing from, because one thing I know for sure is that in a hurry never, ever works. I mean, down to the, how can I describe it? Like the slightest little sneaky bit of in a hurry can completely sabotage your focus, your listening, your connection as a musician. In a hurry is basically one of the number one enemies of beautiful artistic flute playing. I know that. The other one being apathy, which I don't think I tend to ever experience. I'm betting if you've listened this far to this little on-the-fly voice recording, you are certainly not an apathetic person either, but maybe you can identify with me. This in a hurry can be such a saboteur. So thank goodness I came to my senses, and instead of forcing myself to just sound better, whatever that means, I stopped. I did a couple of breathing exercises. I let the silence kind of just soothe me a little bit, and I relaxed into the silence in the room. I turned my metronome off for a second, and when focusing on my breath and listening to the silence started to feel like a beautiful thing, I slowly eased myself back into turning the metronome on, getting my flute back out. I had just set it down to just kind of take a break for a second. So I got my flute again, and I started the epic warm-up all the way back over. And this time I listened, I focused, which I don't think of focus as like hardcore concentration. I think of it as really caring about what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling, and kind of blending those two things together. Body mapping, yes, like on the physical side, but mostly the emotional connection to the sound. So when I was focusing and listening the second time around, oh my goodness, as usual, when I'm in a really great artistic mode warming up, the music started to teach me. The flute started to teach me. I started to feel that sing-along surrender where I was riding the air path almost like a magic carpet in midair, or riding the roller coaster. And even though my tone was certainly not perfect in many places, I was able to use the notes that did sound beautiful to teach me how to play the notes that were a little bit rougher. And little by little, as I made my way through the warm-up, my tone sort of returned to me. And I'm so glad that I finished the entire epic warm-up, because for me, I really need those harmonics to remind me of the flexibility in my embouchure. I need that little kind of fun double tonguing section to just kind of wake my tongue up. And remember that double tonguing is about the tongue dancing on the air, not forcing or blowing really, really hard, just indiscriminately. It's about a tongue and air dance, and mostly sing-along surrender more than anything else. Bouncy tummy muscles, of course, but it feels more like a dance and more like singing and more like talking than anything mechanical. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to flute players who can identify. Maybe you're in a hurry when you're warming up, or you get frustrated when you warm up because your tone is not what you want it to be. Or maybe you feel like you should have the perfect tone just the second you pick your flute up, or you're trying to force the quote unquote perfect tone by doing the warm up. If this is any of you out there, please take a lesson from what I went through today. Stop, turn the metronome off, put your flute down for a second, breathe, listen, become available for the music and the flute and the air and just life in general to teach you where the beauty is. Let it start to flow in. The flute is such an amazing instrument. I was just talking with a friend this morning, and we were agreeing with each other that, type A, OCD, perfectionistic A+, gotta get a sticker personalities are often drawn to the flute. And it's so amazing because the flute itself is a life-saving experience, because as I bet many of you have experienced, you can only go so far with the uptight, controlling, competitive, freak out, OCD, got to get every detail right or it's death kind of mindset, because the flute doesn't want to be played that way. You can't squeeze it into a controlled weapon, basically. I mean, sometimes when I hear flutists and they're so impressive, but they're just squeezing the heck out of that flute and they're just blowing every ounce of air they have in their body on every single note. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. It seems like something that is, how can I say it? It's like that person in that moment, which, by the way, has been me a lot in my lifetime. I gave myself carpal tunnel from squeezing the heck out of my flute. But in that moment, it seems like the person is missing the boat. They're missing the point. They're missing the point that the experience of playing that note, that phrase, that melody, that section, that warm-up, that etude, that piece, whatever it is, the experience itself is what's beautiful. So just getting from the beginning to the end as fast or as loud as possible, that is not where it's at. And I think there's all different levels. So I've definitely heard tons of people, and I know me myself, I've done this a lot, where there will be glimpses of connection, glimpses of patience and focus and sing-along surrender, moments of beauty, moments of transcendence, moments of just everything falling into place and being connected. But then there are these other sort of tragic moments where busy brain kicks in, or forcing, or trying to control. And the flute is just this magical, magical instrument that requires surrender. It just requires that you let the air flow in and flow out and just spin out into the air around you on its own terms. Let it teach you. You are not going to muscle that thing into sounding better. In fact, the more you try, the further away it's going to be from you. So anyway, this is me rambling, and I don't know why, but today I wanted to ramble to a few people who might like to listen. I hope you have a beautiful warm-up, and you know what? If this was helpful to you, or you have any questions for me, I'm just going to upload this to YouTube, maybe put a cool picture with it, and if you want to talk about the things that I was talking about, let me know in the comments below, or asking questions or whatever. Have a really great day, and even if you're not a flute player, I hope this was helpful to you.